Hello and welcome to the final round of Rony's Tuesday Fun Race Extra Large in 2022. Round number 12 will be at Kyoto Ring National and Live for Speed with the FXO V8 Supercar mod created by our very own Nico Pantola, who's currently P4 in the qualifying session. I'm Peter Butcher, you're watching simbroadcasts.tv on Twitch and YouTube, and tonight I'm joined by Eoin Harmon in the commentary box for the final time in 2022. Eoin, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing very well. Thank you for asking, Pete. This combination, the FXO has a fresh new design, and Kyoto seems to be the ideal place to take it. So I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Here is the calendar. This is where we've been, and we're in the final round of the year, December 13th already. The year is wrong in that graphic. That's interesting. But there we go. We are at the infamous Kyoto National Track with a car we've not seen or used before, the FXO V8 Supercar. But here we are, the Kyoto Ring National Track, 5.1 kilometers, 3.2 miles, with 60 minutes of qualification, which is almost over, and then a 46 lap or 236 kilometers if you're pedantic lap race with a mandatory 10-second pit stop for all the drivers to complete. This is a fantastic track, and it's one of my favorites in Live for Speed. It can be taken in either direction, and it gives you quite a cool challenge with the oval.
Yeah, the oval is certainly my favorite attribute of the track. It makes things very demanding on the car setup compared to a more flat and sort of weaving circuit with that's where you probably have handy enough aerodynamic setups, whereas with this you've got to combine the big straights, the banked corners, got to have the setup just right for that, but at the same time you've got the chicanes, hairpins and S curves that will mean you have to find some sort of balance.
If the gearing is too long, the infield's going to be tricky. If the gears are too short, the oval's going to be tricky. If the downforce is too high, the infield's going to be great, but the oval's going to be terrible. So yeah, you're right. A lot of different characteristics of the setup that you have to consider at this track. And especially for a new car, the FXO V8 Supercar, created by Nico Pantola, a 5-litre V8 rear-wheel drive supercar inspired mod here. 1.5 tons with 643 horsepower. It's got 150 horsepower more than the FXR, but it is quite a bit heavier, Owen, so it's not quite as fast and less downforce.
Yeah, that's the thing. The default FXO, you certainly notice the acceleration out of it, but if you're adding more weight in exchange for greater output from the engine, the 5 litres will be huge to see, but it will be interesting to see what the differences are as we actually get to see proper racing. But yeah, you would notice the differences on the bodywork as much until you really get up and close with it. But yeah, I really appreciate the effort and the idea.
Yeah, another super mod from Nico Pantola, and we're going to see it in all of its glory in just a moment's time. But before then, let's look at the championship standings, which are pretty much wrapped up. No team's championship standing this year in Rony's Tuesday Fun Race, but it is Fragmaster's Fatal, who pretty much has 1.5 hands on the trophy ahead of Rick Cardle and Unite, the creator of tonight's car. Then it's Rony himself in P4, Asker in P5, Lagutskas, Koivunen, Thamuli, Yarikatila and Lorenzo round out our top 10. We'll let these results slide by. Thank you to everybody who has put their name on this chart this season. This season ran all the way from January, of course. We are in December. One round every month, Eoin, and we can't quite believe that it's come to an end already.
Yeah, I'm in quite a bit of shock as well, because we've had the the remarkable addition of the mod vehicles. So it's a mixture to see who the best driver is between the default S3 pack cars or below, and then these brand new mods. It makes things very, very tantalizing for us to watch, and indeed for the drivers, have something new to drive around every month.
Indeed, this calendar pretty much has been made up of half mods and half stock LFS cars, so one alternating once every couple of months, and I've enjoyed that format. I think if that continued into 2023, it would be pretty okay with me. What do you reckon, Eoin?
Yeah, I'm fully on board. Good mixture. Wouldn't want to see too much of a good thing, so the balance is right. Make sure we know exactly who the best driver is, so you can't just rely on the hard work of the community and then just keep picking mods over and over again. You'd run out eventually.
You would indeed. Well, that was a pretty spectacular way to have a look at our qualifying session that is almost over. 3 minutes to go. Someone losing it in the first part of the oval. And here is Rick Cardle, currently our provisional pole sitter. A time of 1 minute 38.86 is good enough for him at the moment. And then only a couple of tenths back to his teammate, a new teammate, I want to say, Sidus Altsu. I think Sidus has jumped ship from wherever he was before. I believe he was at Teo, was he? Altsu has jumped ship to Teo from Teo GP, unless he's been in a different team before then and I'm in the past. But yeah, by the looks of it, a new addition to the Sidus crew, and Unite there, making it a 1-2-3.
Yeah, exactly. The criteria are big results if you put on the purple of Sidus. So yeah, Altsu is exactly where he needs to be to make sure that signing is justified. Okay,
apparently
he's been there for a little while, but I suppose
apparently he's been inside us for 2 years.
Yeah. So he's new to us in RTF4, representing Sidus. Yeah, if he wants to carry on driving in RTF4, then these are the results he needs to get in qualifying, and then to repeat the trick in the race itself.
Yeah, I've been living under a rock then. I haven't seen Altsu for a while, or maybe I just forgot. But anyway, we're on board with Rick Cardle. He's pretty much nailed the first couple of corners. This is a hot lap. He went very, very wide at oval turn 4 just before he started the lap, which means he's going for one. Here we go up to Parabolica. Not really in fact, it is more parabolic than the Parabolica in Monza, so we can call it that, as he gets on the power a bit squirrely at the rear. This car has a big rear wing, but it doesn't generate as much downforce even than the FXR. Again, you can see the rear stepping out. This car is a real handful, a real challenge for our drivers. 22 times so far, as Rick Cardle going a little bit wide at the middle. And he's completely lost it, and that will be an abort, and he's going to showboat to the end of the lap. So yeah, provisional pole for Rick Cardle, but that is just a demonstrator of how much of a handful this supercar is, Eoin, and well, he's throwing some shapes for us.
Yeah, Rony gave us some tips for us to think about earlier on today. He said it's quite loose with oval turn 1, not possible to take flat out unless you have drained the tank for qualifying. And then the R4 compound tires, probably the most durable, but you have to take care of them. And then I suppose the possibility of going softer with R3s, it might tempt the drivers with that mandatory pit stop.
Here we watch Pekka Koivunen just wrapping up a lap. Currently P5, 1 minute 40-second 0.3 for him, and he's using one of the default skins in this mod. This mod comes with a nice amount of skins. Nico's done a really nice job. Oh, goodness me. All of them inspired by real V8 supercar liveries, as Koivunen gets up on 2 wheels at the penultimate set of corners, and onto the oval he comes for him. Here's Michael Malik. He's starting another lap, so he won't be classified on this run. He's currently down in P14. And we're just waiting for our final few cars to come across the line. I think Pekka Koivunen might be one of the last cars. In fact, he is. No improvement for him. Here comes Magic. And as he comes across the line, no improvement for him either. P17, which means I'm pretty sure that we can call it. And Rick Hardle will be our pole sitter for the final round of the 2022 calendar. Owen?
Yeah, it's a fairly decent advantage he holds over Altsu, the only driver who got within 1 minute 38.
Jari Katila just coming out to a lap, finish a lap. Nobody else is on a lap, so we are able to now get the full qualifying results. And here they come. Rick Cardle with 1 minute 8.86 will be our 12th and final pole sitter in XL in 2022. Then it's Altsu, Unite, Fatal, Koivunen, Thamuli, Rony, Onifus, Redbot, and Soini. Then it's Texas, Lorenzo, Jari Katila, Michael Malik, and Tallenberg for MRC, Johnny SVK backwards, Magic for Race Green, South, Justin, and Pedro BR, our top 20. Just a couple of names on the second page of results. Weed and T. Knoll there. We do not yet know whether those two will qualify. Those times do seem to be quite far outside the pace of everyone else, so we will have to get confirmation from Rony as to whether those guys will be able to start, but we will see. Owen, we've got quite a racing prospect here. 8 minutes to go until our grid, but a super handful of a car by the looks of it. And the drivers are really going to have to manage the tyre life, and I wouldn't be surprised if we do see some pit stops for tyres.
Yeah, the little bit of the unknown will meet the drivers today. I'd say they, if one person has a solution and people assume it's a quick one, then they'll copy it. I'd say the safe bet is to go for those R4s, front and rear, and see how you cope with the fuel tank at capacity for a stint. And yeah, I suppose, just see how it goes. If anyone has a secret, we'll see it play out in the race.
Yeah, that 5-litre V8 is generating quite a bit of power, and because this car is so heavy, you're right, I think the tyre degradation is going to be a lot higher than what we've seen from other GTR-style races. I don't think you can really compare this thing to either of any of the stock GTR cars. It's just so powerful and so heavy that it's going to present a totally unique challenge. This is going to be an interesting one for us. We're going to have to be on our toes, and what better kind of environment to test this car at other than Kyoto National? I mean, you've got this fast oval section that we were talking about before. They'll be able to unleash all of that power, but if they've overheated their tires, then turn one is gonna be a challenge. It's difficult to hold your speed through there if you've got burned rubber.
Yeah, precisely. The threat of being in the gravel trap, I have been led to believe if you get stuck in the gravel trap, that's it. You won't be able to get back out. I suppose the weight will be pushing you down, and the other elements of the car will mean that just the tires will just keep spinning. You won't actually be able to get out. So yeah, the drivers have to be a bit more careful in that regard.
Yeah, we saw it in qualifying a couple of times. Drivers just getting slightly too loose through turn one, and that was the end of their lap. We only have 22 drivers who've decided to qualify for this, probably because of the monumental challenge that it actually presents for a longer format. This is going to be a 46-lap race. Remember, 60 or so kilometers less than Grand Prix distance. So, that's a lot of driving, a lot of laps. We're going to be here for a while, and hopefully we've got some people on the podium by the end of it. Because this is going to be a race of attrition again, but maybe not through too much contact necessarily because of the lack of cars on the grid, but more just as a personal challenge. It's going to be difficult to finish this race, let alone finish well. But yeah, we look forward to seeing what can happen. Before we went to the track with the action beforehand, we looked at the championship standings. Now, we need to pay a bit of attention to this because Fatal has pretty much wrapped this up. Something colossal has to go wrong for him in order for him to not win the Drivers' Championship. And of course, there is prize money available to him if he does win, because World Class Lines once again have sponsored both RTFR and RTFR XL this season, and tonight is the first race where we're actually going to give out some money. In fact, no, that's not true, is it? There was money given out after season 1 of RTFR this season, so the second of 3 events that will have prize money associated with it. Very generously sponsored, of course, by World Class Lines. We thank them for their continued support.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It's wonderful that the support has carried on for 2022. It does mean that there's a little bit of additional reward for coming out on top in the championship, and hopefully we see more people stepping up to the plate next season should the prize money be funded again.
Yeah, we don't want to foreshadow anything. Obviously, it's completely up to the partnerships as to whether they're going to carry on. But we are going to be having a bit of a talk, aren't we, to see what our plans for 2023 are going to be. And obviously, we'd love to see RTFR back on the screens for you guys to enjoy. We hope you've enjoyed the coverage this year. Of course, it's been a great championship. We've had some races which have been super challenging, Eoin, and some races which have just been an absolute blast to watch from beginning to end. We can have a look back at the calendar, all the way back at the XRG at West Hill at the beginning of the year. We've had how many mods have we had? We've had 6 or 5 or 6 mods this year. I think it's 5 is the grand total. Yeah, 5. And tonight culminating in the V8 Supercar. So a good smattering of mods in there. And I think it's been a good addition. It's been a real challenge for the drivers, especially the South City round right back in February, if you remember.
Yeah, I was double checking the list of races throughout the year, and yeah, that's the one that stands out as it was beyond the threshold of difficulty. Normally it was way above average in terms of how tough it was on the drivers, and I thought it was more the summertime that was in, but no, in February it was the debut of a mod in RT4 XL. So yeah, that one probably not one to repeat, we'll say that much.
Yeah, I couldn't quite believe that myself, actually, looking back to see when that was. But yeah, all the way back in February, can you believe? With I believe it was the Shelby Cobra inspired mod, was it not?
The Lancia Stratos.
Oh, it was the Lancia Stratos. Yeah, it was Martin Capel's Lancia Stratos.
Starlin or something like that.
Starlin, yeah. The name escapes me. We're not very well versed on our mods yet, are we? We need a little bit more time to get used to the concept. I guess is fair to say.
Yeah, I suppose the fact that the mods require a little bit of creative sort of altering of the names to avoid copyright or anything like that. It just means that you have to either remember them straight away, or else you have to just keep repeating in your mind to make sure you remember it.
Yeah, it takes me a bit of time to warm up during these broadcasts, apparently. The date is what's just given it away to me. February 22nd, that was the second year of Sim Broadcasters being an entity.
Yes.
So that was our second birthday, and that was, of course, with the Acosta Starlin. There we go.
Yes.
South City. What a mod to debut on that day. It was quite an entertaining one. But like you said, there was a lot of attrition, certainly memorable. Even if it took us and our old brains to a while to remember it, so to speak. But anyway, a great calendar this year. Rony can definitely be proud of this one, and hopefully tonight is a capstone. We certainly expect it to be. Very challenging car, fantastic track, of course, and we'll have to see how the V8 Supercar handles itself. We are going to be gridding very, very soon. The drivers are going to be readying up in the background as we speak, and we're going to be going racing for 46 laps around KY2. It's going to be quite a blast.
Yeah, we'll see how things go. Sidus should be feeling pretty chipper with themselves, securing the 1, 2, 3 at the front, and Fatal might just be in a jovial mood, just follow the leaders and get the last remaining points to make 100% sure. With 8 fingers and 1 thumb on the trophy already, just needs that last finish to make absolutely sure.
Yeah, we will be going racing a second now, so we're going to stand by and get ready for it.
And there we go. Race green, race clean in RT4XL. The last time that message will be used in this series for 2022. We still have RT4 in general to look forward to, but this is the conclusion of XL for this season. And we have a look at these cars forming down the start finish straight, and a quick getaway. We'll see who responded the best. Looks like Rick can merge to the center of the track. Altsu will just follow along, and Unite is going to get a slipstream. So big gains. Koivunen overtaking for 4th position. Fatal will try and go on the outside line into the first chicane. We'll see. Altsu just he's clear of Unite. Unite was actually slow. A little bit of a bump there. Onifus, a little slide there for him. In general, the drivers have negotiated that part of the track just fine.
Yeah, this is going to be a slight challenge. A lot of the drivers have chosen to use the same livery, so we're going to have to differentiate them by the rim colour that they've chosen. It's currently Pekka Koivunen in P5 with Fragmaster's Fatal ahead of him there in another Kokopine livery. So the 3 Kokopines together. 2 of them are Fragmaster's drivers. The other is a world-class Lions driver, but we seem to have separated into a Sidus and Fragmaster WCL train here. With Race Green in behind. 3 Race Green drivers together, led by Rony, separated by ZFRL's Thamuli.
Well, that's Lorenzo getting very determined there with a dive on the inside. No contact was ever a possibility there. You can see those similarly skinned cars, but different teams. But unfortunately for them, they're going to be left astray by the Sidus tree, or 3.
Yeah, Jari Katila's got a livery on, a world-class Lions livery. As we've got side-by-side action slightly further up. Michael Malik going quite wide. He's going to slot back in. He's not gone down all the way. There we go. That's Redbot, who is currently just behind him. Onifus is having a battle with Thamuli here, right?
Watch out for this one. They're continuing through the oval banking as we begin lap 2. So it feels like a very quick lap. I know it will be a long race, Pete. We're confident of that, but with the lap time, it felt very quick, even though it's a 2-minute, just beneath a 2-minute barrier. And we can see that Muli holding on that inside line, and Rony is getting
he went for a big send.
That's what we love to see with the V8 supercars. That's tradition for them, getting door-to-door battles. Watch out for Lorenzo. Maybe he wants to play the trick again, getting on the inside line.
Another
Parabolica doesn't suit him.
Michael Malik getting out of shape as well. He's having trouble with his tyres, I think, already. As South then is in a battle with who's that with? Sorry, that's Redbot in a battle with South, and South goes off.
Oh, South!
And it's going to spear into Jari Katila, and Jari Katila's over and on his roof and out.
Yeah, you'll have to reset a lap down. Unfortunately, that's a big collision. Yeah, he wants to try again from scratch, but South with that damage on the rear right panel, it's cosmetic. but the rear left tire is actually in poor shape. So
yeah, United's gone for a textbook move on the oval here. He's going to give his teammate a bit of a tow again, because they need to try and catch up to the back of Rick Cardle, who's absolutely disappeared here. Rick Cardle leading the way here very convincingly ahead of Altsu and United, who are having to do slipstream on each other to catch back up. Looked like one of them got slightly out of shape there, but we've got Koivunen versus Fatal. Fatal, our championship leader, down in P5 now, and trying to recover some places here.
Yeah, this is Fatal just following along the black rims compared to Koivunen's reds. I suppose it's just as I said in the build-up, he wants to follow along. He doesn't need to win the race, doesn't need to finish on the podium, just needs a few more points. I believe, Pete, you know the points for a win, do you?
21, I think, for today is what Chris has told us. It depends how many people started the race. We'd have to work it out again, but pretty much Fatal has both his hands on this championship. But that's not what we're going to talk about, is it? Because we've got a race at the end of the day, and this is for Pride overall. So Thamuli P6 currently for ZFRL with a very nice livery, as pointed out by his teammate Miika, who unfortunately can't be with us in the commentary box tonight. He's under the weather a bit, so we wish him well. But yeah, his teammate is driving pretty nicely here in P6 with a Holden-inspired livery. And in fact, yeah, it's got Jägermeister sponsorship on it. Finish favourite.
You've got to have that personal flair for your team. Yeah, I saw South has pitted for repairs and new tyres, but he sped in pit lane, so that's his mandatory pit stop done. But yeah, let's carry on with Onifus and Rony side by side through the oval. Yeah, you can't go flat out, he says, if you're running anything more than a litre of fuel, probably. So he's done a very good job on that outside line. He's settled the car down for the chicane and can claim that position, P7.
Yeah, nice move, Rony on the move. Onifus dropping down a couple of places there. He was in a fight with Koivunen earlier on, but obviously either trying to manage his tyres or just flat out struggling with them at this point in time. The other Fragmaster entry, Soini's made a move. This is novel. Team of Soini, who normally... Oh no, there we go. Justin having a move back, and Soini giving him more than enough room, and unfortunately driving off the road in sympathy.
Yeah, Timu is representing Ford here. That's one of the liveries I do recognise. Gran Turismo 4 had the V8 supercar with that livery. Yeah, it's just suited to suit the FXO.
Yeah, nice touch there by Nico. One of the default skins in the on this mod, in fact, as Justin retires, probably giggling at Soini driving off the track behind him, but retires from the race. We're down to 19 runners, and we're watching Rick Cardle, but we need to watch Tallenberg, who's side by side with his teammate Michael. Michael again opting for that wide line, sweeping back into the slipstream, trying to get past later on in the oval.
Yeah, it's important that you make your choice on what you're going to do on the oval. Michael seemed to want to rise up the banking, and it could have sprung an unnecessary surprise on his teammate there. Thankfully, they were able to negotiate that. With Tallenberg on the outside, can he get a cut back? No, he's gonna concede for the moment and follow through the first 5 corners. Well, the second 4 corners, yeah, after the oval turn 1, yeah.
Yeah, it's a complicated layout, and counting corner numbers is always annoying, especially when we don't have too many, tracks with actual corner names in LFS, because they're all fictional. But Tallenberg again struggling on the brakes, leaving a lot of rubber on the track, having to correct mid-corner. Every time the drivers do that, it's gonna upset the car. It's gonna heat up the rear tyres. It's gonna slow them down, and this is going to be a very difficult race. As Tallenberg again struggling with the rear of his V8 supercar there. That's allowing Redbot to close up ever so slightly, but Redbot himself has company from Magic behind.
Yeah, Magic will want to see if he can make a difference here, if he can beat his teammate for 12th position and then challenge the master race cars. Unfortunately, that corner there, just back onto the oval, turn 13, that didn't suit Magic's turn in. Unfortunately, caused him a slide, and he's lost a huge amount of time. You can see Tellenberg's rear wing there. That shows purely the green of Redbot, and unfortunately South, who had that drive-through penalty for speeding in the pit lane, has seemingly had enough and is no longer in the race, leaving us with 18.
Yeah, 40 laps to go, and we are down to 18 cars. We're watching Magic approaching the first series of corners. A very, very tricky chicane, especially if you're in a battle onto the brakes and through a double right-hander afterwards. A little bit wide of the apex, and again for Magic, but never mind. He's got a little bit of space, and he is catching up to the back of his teammate. Ricardo,
Yeah, slowly but surely, yeah.
Absolutely. Ricardo very comfortable out front at the moment, but I have to say, I think Altsu wants to bridge the gap between him and Unite, because that gap has been going up very steadily, and it's now 4.6 seconds, the gap from second to third. So Unite has kind of backed off of the battle with his teammate, but might just be slipping into the clutches of the pack behind. We've got Pekka Koivunen in fourth currently, with Fatal using the same livery behind. Tamuli's still there for ZFRL. Very impressive drive so far for him. And Rony having a great time in the V8 Supercar. I wonder if Unite has got something up his sleeve here, because of course, I mean, I know it doesn't mean anything, but he did make the mod.
That is true, but yeah, if he knows something the rest of the drivers haven't figured out yet.
The top five are all using R4s on the front and R4s on the back. But it seems as though Thamuli is opting for a split tyre strategy here, Eoin.
Yeah, that's interesting, because I did get the hint from Rony that drivers would be dissuaded from using R3s on a high fuel load in case of severe tyre wear on the banking and the long parabolica, as you see just gone by there. Yeah, that's where you would have thought the safe bet would be to carry on with R4s. The Thamuli is in the belief that there is a way to overcome that strategy with the R3s.
Well, he's currently doing a great job. P6. We'll just have to see how long that lasts with the alternate strategy. Johnny SVK and Noel both using R3s on all the tyres. Chris has gone through all the drivers and worked out what everyone's running. So it's R4s for everyone else except Johnny SVK and Noel, who are using R3s, and Thamuli, who's running a split R4, R3 tyre strategy. Onifus as well.
Yeah, it's great to have that information at our disposal with the information we get in game, but what we can tell you as well is another fastest lap for Rick, a 1 minute 40.18. But Onifus and Rony, or sorry, that's Lorenzo. Excuse me, Lorenzo goes very, very smoothly up the track. It was a bit brisk, I have to say, but it worked perfectly for him. So Lorenzo has taken command of 8th place and is gaining quickly on Rony. Oh, car on the gravel, that's Yari. Yari does escape, but he's 2 laps down.
Yeah, I think he might have been moving, but
2, I think it was.
Yeah, he was taken out. In fact, taken out by a car sliding back across the road. I struggle to remember who it was.
It was South, yeah.
South came across the road in front of him. Tallenberg and Redbot are side by side heading into Parabolica. Tallenberg with the nose ahead. It looks like move done. Or in fact move.
Yeah, Tallenberg had the position when I was last watching, so maybe
Redbot
he lost
was going for an attack. Yeah, he was defended that position. we've got Noel in the gravel and he's stuck. No safety cars or anything.
Oh, that's a puncture, Pete. He's actually got a flat,
already. Oh my
front
goodness
left
me!
Flat tire.
After 8 laps, that's R3s all round. Remember, so that's probably why that's happened. But still, it doesn't just happen. You still have to drive the car pretty aggressively to manage that after just 8 laps, and still Tallenberg and Redbot going side by side as they're Noel retiring from the race in the background. And look, Tallenberg, as we mentioned a few laps ago, really struggling to get the power down on that rear, and that's just allowed Redbot again to slip back through. I'm not sure Tallenberg's I don't think it's even worth him retaliating. I think he just needs to cool those tyres down, but, well, doesn't matter what I say. It looks like he's going to go for it. Moves to the inside. His tyres aren't that hot, but hotter than Redbot's apparently, so still has some effort in him. You don't really want to be on the inside line. Redbot giving him a bit of room just in case he slithered up the track.
Yeah, a little bit of a lock-up there for Redbot. He just held it. Yeah, when you're on ovals, you have the spotter in real life. That's a safety measure as much as anything. So if there's a car on the totally opposite side of the oval to you, that you don't just turn up as they turn down, and that would be a hefty side-by-side whack of each other. So
these two are glued side by side, Eoin.
Yeah, they don't need to be instructed by a spotter. They know exactly what they're doing. And Tallenberg is the victor in this round 5, but we'll see if Magic's presence will make a difference, as Redbot has had to concede the inside line. That's turn 10, I believe. No, it's actually a good job for Redbot in the middle of the circuit. Magic couldn't get the drive out of the corner.
Yeah, Magic did not care about his teammate there. He wanted to go for the move, every man for himself. But still, Tallenberg and Redbot going side by side as we head onto the oval. All of them getting slightly out of shape. We're going to have to go away from this battle slightly because we've got Lorenzo versus Onifus slightly up the road. Onifus trying desperately to get past, but he can't do it on the outside. He's going to have to try and do it on the brakes. Onifus on the inside there. And Lorenzo on the outside, of course.
Yeah, this is for P7 now because Rony has taken his mandatory pit stop, giving up the position. In the gravel.
That's it.
Thankfully, there was the way out. The hay bales were just enough out of the way to avoid him getting log jammed by the obstacles there. So yeah, Rony comes back out on the track as mandatory pit stop was 10.71 for damage and refuel. So yeah, that's fine. He'll be the last driver on the lead lap now. Yeah, this is fantastic work for these cars, looking for an outside shot at the positions 7 through 10. Really, it's great to see.
Yeah, but now there's an inter-team squabble between Redbot and Magic. I have to think that Magic's pretty much stunted Redbot's chances of attacking Tallenberg again. Tallenberg's had a big problem there, though. He's all out of shape and just about collects it up, and still with a gap to the 2 race green cars behind.
Yeah, I think at this point you need to allow Redbot maybe 2 or 3 laps to concentrate solely on getting Tallenberg, because Magic and Redbot very equally matched drivers, but if they're just costing each other time, that will give Tallenberg the respite he would dearly love. You can see with that wobble out of 8 and 9 that he is very much in contention to lose his position, but not when there's teammates having sort of licks out of each other there.
Yeah, not quite enough slipstream there for Redbot, so not able to affect any sort of move on this lap on Tallenberg. But as they head into turns 2 and 3, Tallenberg again having slight wobbles, and Redbot's right back with him. These 3 are going to be together for a while, I think, unless something snaps.
Yeah, we'll certainly keep an eye on them, but a little while ago, Aitsu got the new fastest lap of the race, a 1:40.10. So Rick hasn't had it all his own way in this segment of the race. but he still very much has a commanding lead of 2 seconds. It certainly feels like a chasm when you see the oval, how big it is, and you feel like Rick is an eternity away. Now, just outside the podium, we've got Koivunen and our champion-elect, Fatal, in P5. He continues just to follow along. He doesn't have any pressure really on him, provided he secures those points that he has right now.
Yeah, he just needs to finish. If he finishes here, that'll be enough. He will have done enough to secure the 2022 championship. We're pretty sure he's done enough anyway, but we will see. Rick Cardle leads the way, 2 seconds ahead of Altsu. Only 2 seconds. That gap is it's been going up gradually, but only 3/10 in the last, 5 laps. Sidus Unite is now 11 seconds back from Altsu, so dropping back even more. You have to think he's just got a little bit more fuel maybe than the others. The void between him and the other two Sidus cars doesn't make a lot of sense right now.
Oh, Tallenberg, he spun it, turn 2, and Redbot was put off his entry there. So what happened was Tallenberg was trying to go from the outside of the O, or was it the inside? So it was the inside. He was trying to defend it, but it caused his rear tires to get overly active and spin him. So his rear left has become quite hot. So he's got to calm that down, and that might be Yagtil again. Yeah, that's Yari in the gravel. So I think Tallenberg's got to. Tallenberg needs to be very conservative with that tire now, and it means that Magic has gained a surprise advantage over Redbot. Probably not his prediction as this lap began, but he's got it now.
Yeah, Redbot must be really annoyed because these three have completely swapped positions around him. Magic was behind and now in front, of course, and Redbot will desperately want to get back past his teammate. Needs to be close as Tallenberg again really struggling into the braking zone. That tyre really hampering his progress, and Redbot with not a good enough exit there will not have any sort of effective slipstream, or will he? It seems to have come back to him somehow. I don't think that's going to be enough to make a move on this lap.
No, it's too far back, unfortunately. The Hamuli can just follow his momentum here right now. He's doing absolutely fine, and you can see that Koivunen is within the grasp of Fatal here. If this carries on, there will be a swap for position. Tallenberg does get to the pit lane, thankfully. He rescued it from that earlier slide. This is Fatal's grand opportunity to go on the offensive here. Turn 10, you have to be already alongside to make that corner work as an overtaking spot. Tallenberg takes a refuel. Doesn't change the tires, so I think he's happy with how they're cooling after slowing down that last lap.
Well, only time will tell. He's done his mandatory pit stop and he is off on his way. And he's at risk of being lapped now then by Rick Cardle, who is now 2.5 seconds almost ahead of Altsu. There's Altsu just popping into the background. And the gap up to Unite now 15 seconds from Rick Cardle. So, and Unite having to go very wide through turn 1. We mentioned that was going to happen. Potentially as the tyres get warm, you can't get all the way down to the apron with the V8 supercar. The tyres just get too hot and you don't have enough grip down there and you slide wide. So Unite already feeling as though he has to compromise his line through turn 1 to keep this car at top speed. These two are back at it again, and Redbot's managed to slip through in the slipstream. But will Magic have anything to say about that into the braking zone at turn 2? Oh, both of them sliding around. So difficult to have any sort of battle through turn 1. But both of these guys managing it perfectly. There we go. Redbot makes the position back. Eoin.
Yeah, this is absolutely riveting battling between the two teammates. Redbot has now regained it, and he's probably Thankful for that. We'll see if he can make a break for it now, because previously Tellenberg was his primary aim, and now that he is he's now taking a pit stop, it should be the case where Red Bull can show us his best lap times. Hopefully, that's a big slide there. Magic gets it under control in the end. But yeah, that's actually an interesting point. Most cars wouldn't be too bothered by those sort of crest turns, but yeah, it really puts this V8 supercar under stress. Red Bot has put two wheels
had a
on
wobble.
the curbs. Yeah, you got the airborne, the right side of the car airborne, and it allows Magic straight back in.
Yeah, this is brilliant stuff.
Yeah, it seems like Magic has the position. Red Bot should get the slipstream off him as soon as the final curve of the oval's over. So, yeah, I think he can get a bit of slipstreaming from him now as they enter the first turn. Yeah, more cases where the car just cannot cut down to the apron. So yeah, fascinating stuff here.
Yeah, after today, there's a bit of discussion about prize money in the chat. I can give you the information on this. So, in the championship overall, the winner of RTFR XL will win €70. So that looks like to be going the way of Fatal as Magic gets out of shape again on our cameras. And we'll just leave the cameras with these. These guys are providing us with plenty of entertainment. They are the closest, other than Pekka Koivunen and Fatal. But I'll quickly run down the prizes. It's €70 for first in the championship, €35 for second, 20 for third, 15 for fourth, 10 for fifth through 10th. So the top 10 drivers all getting prizes, 5th through 10th with €10 each. So very, very generous again by World Class Lines, sponsoring €600 in total for the RTFR and RTFR XL season this year, which is very, very generous. You've got to say, Eoin.
Yeah, it's a very impressive very impressive amount of money to act as a prize. So yeah, it should be well appreciated by our champion. But I see that Unite has lost time, and Koivunen is within 0.3 of a second here. So we go on board now with the World Class Lions driver. Yeah, he's going to really give Unite a hard time. Unite does have the apex covered, and of course the Hamuli as well shouldn't be discounted. He's visible in the background.
Neither should Fatal. This is a really tight battle from P3 through P6. This is 4 cars within 2 seconds of each other. This is the intense midfield battle. It's not so much a fight out front. 20 seconds now separating the Sidus guys, and Unite looking like he's going to be swallowed up by these 2 cars here. So yeah, this race could flip on its head pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's Unite with the hot rubber on the rear left tire that's been put through a lot of strain. Yeah, he might have a case similar to Tellenberg if that gets any hotter. So Koivunen, who's pretty much spot on with his tire management. Fatal is the same. They're both very, very comfortable on those tires. So yeah, it is Unite under very, very hot spotlight here to see if he can get back that gap he had before. But in terms of finishing second, that seems pretty hopeless. He's 18 seconds behind Alsu.
Yeah, he's a vast distance behind, and again, you can see how much time he loses through turn 1. It looks as though he's running lower downforce. I don't know if that's true, but it looks like he is, because he can't commit as hard through turn 1. So we'll have to see what's going on there. He gains massive amount of straight line speed on the oval, but then he can't keep it together through turn 1. And when we head into the infield, we'll just have to see how the cars behind close up to him. We'll just have to see how Pekka Koivunen manages. As he goes a bit wide, he can't get the car down to the apex either initially at the Parabolica. Yeah,
it's tough times for Koivunen. as he's obviously excited at the possibility of taking third position. Any slip-ups and he's down by 2. Yeah, I think he just has to remain patient for now. He's done the hard graft in the first stint. Personally speaking, if you get through the first quarter of a race without damaging your tires, you should be in a good position to carry on to the remainder of your stint, whatever plan it is. So yeah, I'm pretty satisfied that Pekka will be where he wants to be right now. Just has to keep going.
Yeah, I remember back in my LFS days, Owen, if there was a big race coming up, I'd always try to do at least one full race of practice, race simulation run the day before or something. I don't know how many of these guys did it, but this car looks like one of those cars where you would absolutely want to do that if you wanted to finish well. But these three certainly keeping Unite honest. Rony SVK has had a spin. He's got very, very hot R3 tyres now, that car. So expect that either in the pit lane or in another gravel trap soon.
Yeah, it's obviously the case where the gamble it had to be perfect to work, but I think Tallenberg would sympathise with him. It's the same problem with the temperature cycle. So it might be worth getting that car in the pits. Yeah, he spun it again right in the middle of the track at turn 13. Jari gets through him, but yeah, we now see Rony, who has that pit stop in his pocket, getting past Teemu, and Teemu actually had a brush with the wall there.
More than a brush. Big slam in the wall. Just again struggling with grip through turn 1 and being a bit spooked by that. So Johnny SVK now a lap down thanks to the second spin.
He decides to keep going.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame him. It's a fun car to master this by the looks of it. But as we head on to lap 19, it is Rick Cardle who now leads by 4.5 seconds over his teammate. Altsu's distance between him and his teammate is ever expanding. So too is the gap between Altsu and Unite, who is now 24 seconds behind.
Johnny SVK is beached, I beg your pardon. Yeah, he's gone off at turn 1, turn 2, heading into turn 3, and there's no way out from that.
No, that's going to be giving yellow flags to everybody else coming into that section. Unite will be next on the scene, and all these guys are going to see that stricken car as Unite goes up on 2 wheels. Goodness me, he's really, really pushing here. Almost at risk of rolling it there. Yeah, you can't afford any of that nonsense. So far, he's doing just enough to keep the cars behind him at bay, but I'm staggered, Owen, at how close these 4 are.
Yeah, this is mightily impressive. We haven't seen the opening from anybody for Unite, for example. It looked like he was in trouble, but he manages to excel where the car is capable of following his orders the best. And then Koivunen and Fatal have been pretty much neck and neck for a while. And then the Himuli has been driving very impressively. Has not let anyone out of his eyesight. So we'll see if there is any cracks under pressure from these 4 drivers and the outcome of that.
The Muli is in the dream scenario. This is the scenario you absolutely love. If you know that you're keeping pace with the drivers ahead of you, it's so fun to chase. Anyone who's driven KY2 especially will know that being in a position where you know you've got pace under you, you're happy with your car, you're confident with the tyres, and you've got cars ahead of you who you're just waiting to make the mistake. At some point it will come if you just do your line, do your consistent line, unless they are in a similar mindset to you and not panicking with you getting larger in their rear, in your rearview mirror. You can just close up and then pick them off one by one. The Mooney will be enjoying this a lot.
Yeah, it's fantastic when you can just follow those drivers in front of you. You're able to keep up with them, and if you can pounce when the time is right, then by all means go for it. So Fatal's going to kick up the dust on the grassy section there beyond the curbs. So yeah, you can see that Fatal is not putting up his feet and chilling out. He's definitely pushing now. He's encouraged by the outcome here. You could see Koivunen struggling a little bit Can now look from the rear view of Koivunen. Oh no, he slid it. He's touched the grass ever.
He touched the grass, yeah.
A very, very slight touch, and that was all it needed to send the car spiraling sideways. He was able to catch it very, very brilliantly, but unfortunately that was the moment that I was thinking about it could happen, and that's exactly what Fatal wanted to see.
Yeah, the car was initially upset by Koivunen going slightly wide of the apex into the chicane there, getting a slide on and then not being able to control the rear enough to avoid the grass, and that's what sent him round almost. Fatal was there to pick up the pieces, but Thimuli just ever so slightly far back. Doesn't quite have a slipstream either on the oval, so that'll be a bit of a gut punch for Thimuli, who will wish he was just ever so slightly closer by the time they entered the oval.
Yeah, he would have appreciated being closer. Yeah, he's gonna settle into a rhythm again. We'll see how Koivunen reacts, knowing that he's lost one place. Yeah, he should be okay here. Oh, the opening, it's a little bit of a gap. It's not enough. Koivunen responds with a good exit out of turn 5. That outside line at turn 5 is quite tricky now, with the cars getting well through their stint now. And that's actually Unite. Unite has lost some time again, and Fatal is catching him.
Yeah, I mean, Fatal is catching him, but as we've got a car ahead going off in quite a spectacular fashion, Tallenberg's tyres have let go on him massively there. That was an enormous amount of smoke that he left behind, and that'll be a retirement. Yes, it is for Tallenberg. He's that probably about time, I think.
Yeah, those tyres only lasted 5 laps or so before that spin, so it was either just change them and be well and truly out of the running, or just try and resist and keep a few seconds in the pocket. But unfortunately, yeah, it proved to be the wrong call to remain on those tyres, and he's out of the race.
Indeed. As we continue to watch Unite, who I think he's in the most interesting position here. The void between him and his teammates keeps going up and up and up, but the excitement really is going to come from behind if Unite can't manage it. Again, I think he's cooled his tyres enough that he's able to use the apex now, because that's the lowest on the oval I've seen him go in quite a number of laps. And, well, I think he knows that now is the time he needs to push. It doesn't matter what his tyres think. He needs to push, or else he's going to get swallowed up by Fatal behind. Fatal's definitely closed up on him.
Yeah, there was a small wiggle from Unite out of turn 5 there. And Fatal is going to give him a lot of pressure. So unfortunately, Redbot, we really enjoyed watching him and his teammate Magic go toe-to-toe. But unfortunately, as he's entered the pit lane, he's broken the speed limit and must take a drive-through penalty for it.
Yeah, and it's a long pit lane. You lose a lot of time by driving through it. Obviously, it's the fastest section of the track, so that's going to cost him a whole bunch of time against his teammates. So Magic will be grinning, and Redbot will be sulking undoubtedly. But in the background here, we've got 2 fights going on from P3 down to P6 now, because Fatal is catching the back of Unite, and Thimuli wants a slice of World Class Lions action here. Again, Pekka Koivunen wide, and they're going to be side by side in the oval. That's not what you want. Thimuli, wisely drops back. He wants the slipstream. He doesn't want to be side by side with Pekka. And, well, here we come. This is going to be a move. He's backed out of it. He's going to wait. He's going to be smart. He's going to wait for the final corner, or is he going to go early? He goes to the outside. Interesting.
I have to commit to the middle of the banking. Koivunen is sliding a little bit up.
That's a great move. That is a great move. If he can make that stick, that's a move. That's the move of the day for me. Held Pekka Koivunen low, made him think about it, and did the move around the outside. Fantastic.
Yeah, these cars, you normally wouldn't expect them on ovals. That was absolutely magnificent from the Thimuli. He held his ground. He plotted the move. He didn't just go for the red rag. He plotted it, as you said, Pete. Used the slipstream, and then with the outside line, he held on and then just made absolutely sure in the braking zone. As we now see another position change, just I was in the background of our camera shot, fatal P3.
Yeah, we were too excited about Thamuli making a great move that our championship leader and almost certain winner of the championship has passed Unite to break up that Siders top three for the first time this evening. And, well, Unite is going to tumble like a stone now, because as soon as you get passed by someone, all of the wind goes from your sails. We've been in that position plenty of times, both of us, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, Unite, he'll be livid with himself. He'll be so annoyed that he's managed to let Fatal get through. But on the flip side, well, Fatal will be loving it. P3 on a podium, that'd be great. Come the end of the race, if he can still be in P3, because of course he can be on the podium for the moment that he lifts the cup.
Exactly, yeah. Unite, we're now past 50% or just on 50% distance. So it'll be the right time. Yeah, Koivunen does the action I was going to talk about. It's the halfway point, so tire change and the mandatory pit stop done right on time, I think.
Yeah, a lot of fuel going in that car as well to get him to the end of the race. So that'll be just over his 10-second mandatory allocation, which will be plenty safe enough and set him on his way. We'll have to see where he rejoins. 25 seconds stop, though, Owen. That is colossal. So hopefully it was the right call.
Yeah, I wish him well with that strategy. He can still... he can probably be more confident with fresh tires now. He can reset his cycle, but we'll see what happens, because he won't want to give up fifth place without being in contention at the end. So we'll see what the other drivers think of that. They would have noticed the pop-up to say what was going on. So yeah, we'll continue to monitor this, the different drivers and see what happens.
Yeah, the driver who'll be most interested in the pit stop that Pekka just did will, of course, be Thamuli. Thamuli was in a direct fight with him, matching him on pace. So depending on how many laps Thamuli can manage now, will determine where they come out. Thamuli's going to do yet another lap, so he had more fuel on board, presumably, and will be now running on much lower fuel than Koivunen. So he'll be gaining not tenths, but seconds a lap, probably, on pure pace. So the gap between Thamuli and Pekka Koivunen will be going up, up, up.
Yeah, this is the moment he has to put in those personal best times, or aim for his personal best under the race conditions. Obviously, qualifying is a whole different story. So yeah, this is where I want to see the ZFRL driver maximize his work and get on with the job.
Yes, indeed. Up ahead of these guys, it looks like the Unite and Fatal battle isn't entirely over. Unite's had second wind. Well, he's not letting Fatal disappear, but it's not too convincing at the moment if Unite's going to be able to close that gap back down and effect a pass anytime soon.
No, it's going to have to be a build-up of a couple of laps, barring Fatal making an error. So we'll just see how these drivers match each other in this sector. The line has just passed us by, so 107.86 for Fatal, 107.55 for Unite. So he is gaining this time.
Indeed he is. Interesting. Well, let's see what he can manage. He's not close enough to get a slipstream on the oval, but maybe the fact that Fatal has now overtaken him is the motivation he needed to dig deep and find the extremities of the mod that he created. He'd love a podium with it. As we have Lorenzo in the pit lane, just entering now off of the oval. And, well, I'm presuming he's going to be doing a tyre change, because that looked pretty exuberant on pit entry. Needs to get it slowed down.
Oh, no.
Oh, big lockup. And he had so long to slow it down and didn't manage it. Drive-through penalty for Lorenzo. That's unnecessary. It's a stop-go. It was so fast that it was a stop-go. That's unnecessary.
Yeah, it's a brutal outcome, unfortunately.
And
he misses his pit box as well, yeah. So I will expect he will be caught by Redbot sooner rather than later. Well, of course, Redbot has a penalty on his name as well. So no,
yeah, Redbot hasn't served that yet, so yeah, he will soon, I assume.
We'll see when Redbot takes a penalty, but with Lorenzo now out of contention, he will be he'll be subtracted another 30 seconds or so. That massive pit lane, plus 10 seconds in the box for his stop go. That is a critical moment in his race. It won't be retrievable, I'm afraid.
Thamuli heads to the pit lane. That's it. He's out of fuel, presumably, as he heads down that pit road. He needs to do the opposite of Lorenzo. He needs to get that car slowed down, because this, so far, is going to be a fantastic result for him. Gets on the anchors, has a little bit of trouble slowing down, but he's well under the limit as he heads through pit lane. A great first stint for Thamuli. Needs to be a quick stop, and we'll see where he comes out around this man, Pekka Koivunen, who is just entering the middle section of the lap.
Onifus gets a drive-through penalty as well.
Oh my goodness me.
Front left tire change only. So he's made absolutely sure of that plan.
Fuel only for Onifus. Thamuli's on his way. Pekka Koivunen isn't even at the final corner yet, so that's the advantage he has. Thamuli will be out a country mile ahead of Thamuli because he had a 10-second faster pit stop, Owen. It might come back to bite him at the end, of course, if he doesn't have enough tyre life. Pekka Koivunen will almost certainly have enough tyre life left, but yeah, after the pit stop phase, Koivunen and Thamuli are miles apart. There we go.
Yeah, that's Pekka's mission. He's got to claw back that deficit that his pit stop strategy has led him into. Onifus is going to come back out onto the track ahead of Pekka as well. So we'll see what Onifus does. He probably shouldn't cause Pekka any headaches here because of his drive-through penalty. Here's Magic in P6. He's well and truly on his own. Michael is 11 seconds clear of him. The Thamuli haven't taken his pit stop, 3 seconds behind. So yeah, Magic, having had that amazing contest with Redbot, he's all alone now.
Yeah, and into pit lane for him. So he's going to drop back down behind Thamuli and presumably his teammate Rony, who is coming out of the final corner now. Let's see if Magic can get his car down to the pit lane speed limit. Just about, goodness me. The drivers are leaving it so late, often too late. Onifus in as well. This will be to serve a stop go. Yeah.
Yeah, drive through only. It's
okay.
Lorenzo who had the massive infringement of the speed limit. So Onifus will have everyone else behind him is penalized. Or in Yari's case, he's 3 laps down from the leader, so Onifus will probably lose no positions at all.
Still, it's cruel. Look at this. Look at this. The speed he has to trundle down the pit lane. It's very unlikely that he's going to make any position gains unless anyone else ahead of him has trouble. It's just an enormous amount of time to lose. And finally, he's able to get up to full speed, but still at a disadvantage all the way until he hits the brakes for turn 2.
Okay, so I was just going to mention Timu is probably the one driver who Onifus could catch, but it's Unite taking to the pit lane now. This is very much in the interest of the Thamuli. I don't know if it'd be that close to him. Fuel only stop. Yeah, that's probably that's one of the fastest stops.
Yeah. Unite loves to do the fastest stops in Excel. He's if anything, he's consistently good at the pit stops. He very rarely gets it wrong. He has done in the past, but very rarely. And that is, again, a good strategy from him. But let's hope that he's got the pace in the car. He's managed to do the jump, cutting the exit of pit lane quite early there. But there's the gap to Thamuli. Around about 5 or 6 seconds, I think, in the end. Michael Mallet with another quick stop, not quite as quick as Unite, but 2/10 slower. So another good stop for Michael. Probably 200ths off. And as he gets back up to speed, he's going to be very close to the cars around him. He's been passed by Lorenzo, and therefore will be in a direct battle with him. There's a back marker between them. Tony also doing a very fast stop, but unfortunately down in P12 with Redbot getting through now for P13.
Yeah, Redbot continues to ignore his drive-through penalty. He's probably waiting to the last second to serve it. Be it Onifus has actually gained a position after all.
Redbot's gone off.
Redbot, yeah.
Yeah, he's gone through the bales. He's got that completely wrong. And that puts him in a fight with Onifus, directly, in fact. That was 4 seconds at the split time. In fact, Onifus is ahead of him. So yeah, he was in a fight with Onifus, but no longer.
Yeah, Timu is just outside of the reach of Redbot. Yeah, there's the green race green guard just in that background there. It continues to be a very, very convincing performance here for Rick Hartle on this finale for RT4XL. His lead, we can now check, it's 7.99 seconds across the start-finish line. It just grows and grows for Rick's confidence as he's regularly getting underneath 1 minute 40s. That's a fantastic pace. And he's going to just keep going and going, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. 7.9 seconds gap. Which is impressive. Altsu's no slouch, but still struggling to keep up with his teammate. Be interesting to see what Gabor and Botsi would have managed if they were here, but they are not in attendance this evening. They haven't done too many of the rounds of Excel. Who was that going off the track? It was Redbot again. So Redbot having another bunch of trouble at turn 2, and that's going to allow Soini to get past or have a sniff.
Yeah, Timu will be getting there, very confident now.
He has, there we go.
He's already through Redbot. Yeah, I think the engine, yeah, actually that's a good point to for Chris in our ear. He says the engine may have been damaged in a missed gear change or too early of a gear change, and the fact that he's been through
sounds okay.
Traps and everything.
Sounds
recently.
Okay. Oh, there might be a touch of damage there, but short shifting, I think.
Yeah.
Short shifting might be the main culprit, but we'll see. I mean, this is uncomfortable driving now for Redbot, and he's got a long way to go. We've still got 14 laps left in this race after this one, so that's going to be a nurse job.
Yeah, and the tires are getting colder for him, so. Yeah, it's just going to be a case of just trying to keep his grip. Yeah, I think he's calling in for the drive-through. He probably needs those tires off.
Well, he can't stop through a drive-through. You have to drive all the way through pit lane. You're not allowed to stop in a pit box. If you do stop in a pit box, you get another drive-through. He's left it late to brake again.
Made it.
He just made it. Oh, that was almost a double whammy, or a triple whammy, if you want to call it that. He's stopping, so he will get another drive-through, or is he not? No, he's straight lining it. Oh my goodness me! Thought he was going to stop. That would have been bad.
Yeah, that would be 100% out of order if it was real life, or if it was a series with more thorough rule book, but yeah, Red Bot just wants every 10th of a second spared through that penalty.
You probably save yourself half a tenth through taking a straight line. Someone who's trying to save even more time than that, or gain more time than that, is Fatal. The top Fragmasters car in this race now, 26 seconds off the lead. Just again remarkable the pace of Rick Cardle, who is of course yet to stop. So too is Altsu, and Fatal also yet to make that pit stop. So we will have to wait to see when he's going to come in. The top three all yet to pit.
Yeah, they're just doing exactly what they had expected of themselves. A little bit of, actually moderate hit of the wall there for Fatal. He's okay to just brush himself down and carry on. Yes, this is what the top three drivers, that's what separates them from the rest of the pack, as if it wasn't already confirmed. The fact that they can just carry on these laps over and over again. Very few, if any, mistakes, and it means that the drivers that are going to be blue flagged or any such thing, it just means that the fact that everyone knows they're so quick, they'll be aware and get out of the way even faster. And now we move on now. Here's Onifus versus Magic. Onifus will be feeling probably a little bit down in the dumps with that penalty he took, and Magic just wants to reclaim some lost glories, I suppose.
Yeah, Onifus got past Magic, so Magic wants to try and get him back. Red Box in the pit lane again, this time to actually repair some damage, actually changing some tyres and repairing a bit of damage. So finally, he's going to be able to get some fresh rubber.
Yeah, he resisted as long as he could to keep going without taking the penalty, but now he's able to get the tyres he was so badly in need of. So yeah, that was why he took his penalty, and he carries on in 13th, which is second last out of anyone so far, still in the race. But Rick, he's gonna get on the grass there. No problem at all, though.
Yeah, Rick has been slowly pulling an advantage over Altsu, but one mistake from Rick and it could still swing in Altsu's favour. Remember, 10 seconds is the smallest, obviously the lowest gap between that Rick has to deal with, but it's still problematic if you drop a wheel here, as Altsu actually gets out of shape. So while I'm talking about Rick making a mistake, Altsu there looking a bit uncomfortable. A trip through the gravel can cost you 10 seconds here, Eoin, so it's not over.
No, it's definitely not over. But the factor that should be in Altsu's mind is if he wants to pit later than Rick, he's got to manage the tyres as they start to get through the rubber. There's not probably not as much fresh layers left on the tyre. So yeah, he's now decided to pit. So he wants to pit earlier than his nearest rivals.
This is interesting, but we'll have to wait and see if Rick can stay out longer. But this could be music to Fatal's ears, as Altsu almost gets it wrong coming into pit lane. Did he slow it down enough? I think he just... he did get it wrong. He got a drive-through. This is definitely going to be music to Fatal's ears. Altsu, even though he widened his line into the pit lane, he didn't widen it enough. He was still having to slow down in pit lane. He's got a drive-through penalty, as if the inroad into pits isn't long enough here. He's doing tyres and fuel as well. This is going to be a long stop, plus an extra trip through. Fatal could get him, and so could Unite here.
Yeah, Fatal 100% has him. That's confirmed now. Unite is just going to cross Sector 2 line now, so the penalty for Altsu is the determining factor here to see if Unite can get the podium position that he had earlier on after the first sort of half of the race.
Oof, after a drive-through, this will be close. I think it will be close between Unite and Altsu. Here comes Altsu out of pit lane now. Unite's just going past Penji. It will be close. I don't know if it will be enough. We'll have to wait and see. Altsu has 11 laps left to serve the penalty. So, well, it's going to be tighter than he would have liked. Fatal still yet to stop, but will almost certainly be out ahead of Altsu.
Yeah, the ability of Altsu to swing the race in his favor, those opportunities are shrinking without a trace, I think. He's gonna well, I suppose with the fresh tires he may as well try 1 or 2 laps to get them into working temperatures. Rick responds with his own pit stop.
Yeah, tyres and fuel being changed for him. He's got all the time in the world. He just needed to make sure he got into pit lane without any trouble. He has done. He's stopped. And this will be a long stop for him. But he can afford the time as Fatal comes round now to take the lead of the race. He won't be registered with a lead lap until the next lap round, at which point I think he might also come into the pit lane. He has 10 laps to go, excluding this one, 11 laps totally, but 10 laps left in order to pit. Cannot pit on the final lap, of course. So when will Fatal stop? Ricardo back out on his way.
Redbot and Magic are lap traffic for our temporary leader, I suppose. Fatal gets by as Magic struggles in the third corner. Altsu takes the penalty.
Here's the crucial bit. This is Altsu going very, 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 very slowly through the pit lane. He'll be a bit rattled after this. He'll be off. He'll be out of his rhythm as well. And here comes Unite over start finish now. And you're going to see Altsu on the right-hand side of your shot there. And Unite, out of nowhere, has managed to get back on the podium. This is unbelievable.
Oh, he's wobbling just a bit. He's committed into the first corner through the oval. Altsu has to pull out his very best lap times again, and even so, that might not be enough. He's got to really go above and beyond here to catch his teammate.
So drama in the Sidus camp. Unite switches places with Altsu. Altsu made it, well, it went all wrong for him in the pit stops, and that required him to make a second trip through pit lane for a drive-through penalty for speeding. A common theme today. A lot of drivers struggling to get this car slowed down. They clearly weren't ready for how difficult this car is to slow down when you've used the tyres.
Yeah, looking at the track map again, the fact that the oval turn, it's quite a long one, so you still have to remain at a high speed through that to avoid massive time loss. And then once it straightens out just a little bit, you have to start braking, and that's where this car has caused drivers the problems.
Yeah, as Rony goes off, and this is going to be well held. This car is heavy. It's a lot heavier than maybe they would be used to under braking. I mean, the thing is, this track has lots of heavy braking zones, but for all of them, you're pretty much straight. You're straight with the car. So as you mentioned, the pit entry is on a corner, so that might be why some of the drivers are struggling.
Yeah, that's Jari Katila, our driver, who just wants to get to the finish through hell or high water. He had that crash on lap 2, having to reset his car from the beginning. He's been lapped ever since, so he just wants to get through this pit lane, pit stop. 19.65 seconds, and once he emerges, I think he should have reasonable clear air. But Onifus and Michael are very close to each other. They'll be closest to Jari as he comes back out on the track.
I absolutely wish we were on board with Fatal for the last sector there. That was on edge. Fatal is pushing every ounce of energy out of this car at the moment. He's absolutely on one at the moment. Onifus is right behind. Who's that? Michael. In fact, it looks like, Michael has made that move back. So Onifus will have to try and find some other place to get through. And even though Fatal's pushing like crazy, Ricardo is making good effect of his new tyres and has closed the gap to Fatal. So whenever Fatal comes in, Fatal will drop back down as we see Michael going sideways again at Parabolica.
Yeah, it's tricky enough. Parabolica, he's on the grass. Slow it down. Get off the throttle. One of us will appreciate that one. But as we see, you can see the streak of the black paint scheme for Fatal. He will not want to see these cars before he wants to take to the pit lane. So if he's got to sacrifice his strategy just to avoid the lap traffic, I don't think he'll want to do that. But he's got to get his blue flag assistance now. This is the best time. It's certainly Yari's case. If Yari spots the fact that the race leader, yeah, he's actually coming into the pits. So yeah, I did call it.
Yeah, this makes sense. While he doesn't want to have to deal with traffic as well as, well, he doesn't want to lose any time, especially through unforced errors. He needs to get the car slowed down, and he does, thankfully for him. So 7.5 seconds. That means that Ricciardo is going to retake the lead now. There he goes in a streak of blurriness. He's going to catch up to the back of Magic now, and Magic will let him through for sure. There he goes. But where is Fatal going to come out in relation to this car? Unite, well, I think he's going to be miles ahead, Owen, because Unite's not even on the oval yet.
Yeah, Fatal has not done a 15 second stop or longer. It should be fine. It's 16 wheels and a refuel. So Unite will not catch him on merit side by side or getting by. But with that momentum you'll have, it's not out of the plausibility that you can catch him on lap time.
Yeah, it's actually going to be closer than we thought. Unite's already at full pace. He's going down to the apron as well. Fatal's only there. There they go. They're both on the screen at the same time. And, well, Fatal has managed to make the jump.
And there's a car in the gravel. You can see it there. That's Lorenzo.
It's Lorenzo, yeah.
The fact that it's a massive dip.
Yeah, he's
There's
stuck.
actually no rescuing that car.
No hope. That car is out, unfortunately, and I think that's going to be a full retirement with so few laps remaining. Unfortunately for Lorenzo there, he did great early on in the race, had some great fights, but there we go, he retires, unfortunately, leaving us with 13 cars to go. Ricciardo leads ahead of Fragmaster's Fatal, who is only 1.5 seconds now ahead of Unite. We have a podium battle, and it's between 3 cars, separated by only 4 seconds. Altsu has not let Unite disappear. So it's Fatal, the almost certain champion of RTFR XL now, leading Unite and Altsu for Sidus.
Yeah, I suppose Fatal having qualified 4th or thereabouts, yeah. He didn't need to give these Sidus guys the undue stress if he didn't want to, but he certainly has wanted to. And this will be a great result for him to crown off his championship season. Obviously, Rick has shone above. It was predictable based off the qualifying. He had that advantage on raw pace, and the fact that he's been error-free and he's done exactly what he's been planning to do, it means that it was almost a foregone conclusion once that came to be.
Yeah, Rick had an advantage, but he didn't have a second a lap advantage that he's managed to effect here. We're on lap 40, and Ricciardo is 40 seconds ahead of Fatal. That is really impressive. Really impressive. He's been a second a lap faster on average than anybody. And Altsu would have been able to be closer if he didn't make that issue in slowing down for his pit stop. Fatal still right on the ragged edge here. He needs to, because he's got 2 very fast drivers behind.
Yeah, that's precisely it. He's got to go and put everything now into this final segment of the race. The fact that he has that advantage with Altsu and his penalty, it really shouldn't have been this case. Just circumstances have rewarded his perseverance. But Altsu, if anything, could catch Unite. So Unite is not able to freely concentrate on catching Fatal.
Chris in the background is making a controversial call here. We may have a tiebreak situation for P2 and P3 in the championship, so a joint P2 situation potentially. Unite and Rick Cardle may be tied on points at the end of this.
Well, Unite hits the wall with Altsu's on board. Mightn't have been able to spot it, but I had my camera on Unite, so yeah, it was clear as crystal what happened there. So Unite feeling the heat.
Yeah, Altsu is doing a great job here. He's just edging ever so slightly closer, and he has time. He has time. He needs to keep taking those hundredths out of Unite, and maybe on the final lap he'll have a chance. He won't have a chance if he keeps doing that. Quite wide of the apex. Mind you, it looked quite good on the exit. So as we keep riding on board of the interior, I like the interior of this car. It's got the wheel from the Fox in it.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense with the dashboard and the position it is. So it complements the eye line of the in-game driver. That's where you want to see your dashboard, right? In that position. So yeah, very good use of the Fox's steering wheel.
Yeah, the cut rim, and you can see Unite just struggling through this final sector. Altsu's going to be close. Unite just about hangs on the exit. Altsu taps the wall, but does Altsu have a slipstream? I think he has the whiff of it, but Unite just with the pace advantage on the corner exit. Fatal is going to be loving the fact that the Sidus guys are going to get close together. Because that's going to lift a little bit of weight on his shoulders, because, well, you can just see the black speck disappearing through oval turn 1 there. That is Fatal. The car ahead is Unite, and we're riding on board with Sidus Altsu, who is now in a slipstream moment. He's not going to go for a move here, surely. No, he doesn't. Good, okay.
Definitely not.
Oh, but Unite overshoots. Well, this could be game over. He needs to keep it moving. He needs to keep it moving. He's just about kept the car moving. Is it going to be enough? No. He's going to stop. It's game over.
Beach tees. Completely beached, unfortunately. He's
going to be able to wiggle it free.
Yes.
Oh my goodness me. I mean, who would have called that? Unite, after all that effort, loses a place to Rony.
Yeah, Rony's legitimately in fourth. Before I think Rony has pitted, so...
that sends the tiebreak situation out of the window, and Unite potentially has just thrown away second place in the championship. He'll be third place in the championship now with that, unless he can get back past Rony in the next 2 laps. That's all it took.
Yeah, goodness me. Just the drop in concentration for Unite there. He lost the sight of his braking zone.
gaining. And clearly Unite was too focused on whether his teammate was going to go for a send to think about where the brake pedal was, and he's just gone straight on. To be fair, he was lucky to keep it. He managed to still keep it moving, because we've seen, well, every single car that's ended up in that gravel trap and become stationary has become stuck and had to retire.
Yeah, it's fantastic he got back out onto the track. It looked like the hay bale was going to block his final climb out of the gravel trap, but he was able to keep the power down and escaped. It was just about the right side of the gravel trap that he was in, but he has caused himself a lot of suspension damage, about 20% in certain places. So yeah, this oval is going to be real uncomfortable. He just has to probably get settled down and get to the finish. Oh, on 2 wheels there
again. Yeah, he's pushing, and he really wants that place back. He wants to try and get back past Rony, and because, well, Rony's now occupying 4th place. Rick Cardle will not care. He's enjoying himself here. 44-second gap as we have Onifus in the pit lane. I wonder what for. What's he doing? Oh, he's got a puncture.
Oh my goodness.
You can see the car toppling up. It's his left rear. The car was balancing itself on the front left and front right there, and he's managed to give himself a puncture, so slowly does it into the pit box, and he'll get a fresh set of rubber and will complete the race with that. But yeah, what an insane race for Rick Cardle at the moment. He's missed out on all this action, but he's putting on an absolute show on pace.
Yeah, absolutely. He wouldn't have noticed any of the intensity unfolding behind him. So, yeah, I'm sure Unite will want to review this one before the regular RTFR season concludes for the year. But he's got a great run on Rony, so he can get one over the championship organizer. Here we go. He's going to be forced to pick the outside line. Rony hugs that inside wall, but he's got the overspeed he needs. Now, can he cut back down? No, he's going to get close to the wall. He has to shift down to 5th gear. There was a case where he needed to be back in the middle of the oval banking to stand a chance there. But thank goodness he didn't hit the wall.
Rony is keeping Unite honest. This is fantastic stuff in the final few corners of the championship, and this separates potentially Nico from joint second and 3rd place overall. And it's honours at the end of the day. Michael Malik and Magic still side by side. So as has been happening in the last few races we've covered, all the action is happening at the end. Here we go.
Michael's gonna throw the block. Oh, it means the Magic has to break.
Yeah, dirty air. You don't want to be in the dirty air. Michael basically took away the downforce from Magic's car there, but that's a great return. He was so close to the car, and somehow, is he going to hold on to this? He's going to be on the inside for the next corner. They've got Jari Katila behind them, who's a lap down, but it does look like only just but Magic with the run there. Michael will be on the inside for Parabolica, just about has a nose in there. Late on the brakes for both of them. Jari Katila will want to stay well clear of this.
And he'd be happiest if he could just get by.
Yeah, well, I guess he would.
Having his to-do list. He's getting close, maybe too close. Oh, Michael's gonna slide. There's the wall. Oh, hitting it very hard. Well, and the puncture. It's a puncture as well. Puncture. Oh, Michael. Oh, that's heartbreaking.
Oh my goodness, it really is all going off in the final lap. So Michael Malik with a puncture. Well, I thought, yeah, Jari Katila bumped the back of Magic and Michael fell off all on his own, but it was a puncture that did it. 2 laps to go then for Rick Cardle. He won't have anything to worry about, we don't think. Fatal, likewise, unless they've burnt through their tyres. Altsu is really pushing, 2 seconds now behind Fatal. Rony and Unite have not changed tyres, so they could have trouble. This isn't over.
Yeah, this is a case of I'd imagine they have to really let off now. This is the Mooley getting the camera work here. He, of course, wants to get that chance to gain. His front left is very hot in comparison to the rest of the tires. But now we have Magic in the pit lane to sort out that rear left puncture.
And Michael, so it's going to be a battle in the pit lane between those two. Brilliant stuff. But in the meantime, unbeknown to this man, Rick Cardle, he's going to come round. It's not victory in the championship for him this time round. He won the 2021 season of RTFR XL. As Teemu Soini does some gravel stuff there for him. But Rick Cardle will round the final corner to ultimately win the 12th round of RTFR XL, but not the championship this time around. Still, fantastic showing, and if anyone doubted him, well, what were you doing? 45-second lead. Absolutely no problems for him. Across the line to win round number 12 for Rick Cardle. But all eyes after that will turn to Fragmasters Fatal, who only has a couple of corners before he will potentially take up a podium position over Altsu. Just a couple of corners to go. It's not over. And it pretty much is now, and he's starting to flourish because around the final couple of corners is going to come your 2022 Rony's Tuesday Fun Race Extra Large Champion, Fragmasters Fatal. He's delivered time and time again throughout the year. He hasn't won them all. He's had challenges across the year, but there he comes across the line in a bit of a flourish. He is your 2022 RTFR XL champion. Altsu close behind, under 2 seconds in the end, but very, very well deserved to the Fragmasters team. Fatal will take that honour. And a fine return to RTFR XL for Altsu, P3, even after suffering a drive-through penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Unite still behind Rony, so that is it. He is P3 confirmed in the championship.
Drag race across the line.
Oh my goodness me.
Koivunen has beaten him by 1/100th. My goodness. That's devastating for the Hamuli. He's been so impressive today, but he's been beaten by 1/100th after over an hour and 18 minutes in his case. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, I mean, still, you've got to sometimes in those situations you've just got to smile and enjoy the race as it happened. They were the final 2 cars on the lead lap, and you know, it's done by 100th, but you can't take it away. What a fantastic race between Koivunen and Thamuli. Rick Cardle, your winner, will make his way onto victory lane in just a second. Fragmasters will be spraying the champagne this evening. €70 prize money going to Fragmasters Fatal, the winning prize for the XL season. A nice gesture, of course, by the World Class Lions team. Rick Cardle also with the fastest lap of the race. And there he is, doing some nice burnouts there on the podium.
Oh, the Fragmaster cars just butting heads with each other there, just having a bit of fun on this cool down lap. It's calmed down now, but yeah, there'll be definitely a massive feeling of joy there for Fatal, having completed the 12-month odyssey to the title.
Yeah, and as he rounds the final corner, let's just get full final classification of this race result. The 22 starters that we have were whittled down to 13 finishes, and Rick Cardle was the best of them all. 1 hour, 17 minutes, 30 seconds, 0.85, 46.5 seconds ahead of Fragmasters Fatal, your 2022 RTFR XL champion. Titus Altsu in P3 with Rony in P4. Unite will be P3 in the championship. Then it's Koivunen. Sorry, I should mention that Altsu, in P2 in the championship, Rick Cardle. So Rick Cardle will take P2. I shouldn't forget to mention that, really, should I, Eoin? Then it'll be Unite in P3. Pekka Koivunen in P6. 7th for Thamuli after that pretty much side-by-side finish, only 100 separating them. Then 1 lap down, it will be Onifus, Michael, Soini. 2 laps down, for Soini, Magic, Redbot. 4 laps down for Yari. 9 laps down for Lorenzo, the first of our non-finishers. Then Tallenberg, Johnny SVK, Weed, South, Justin, and T. Knoll, your top 20. Over on the second page of results, we have... in fact, we don't have a second page of results. I think that was all of them. We only had 20 starters, so that was all that we have to show. Eoin, been a fantastic year. Unfortunately, there can only be one winner. Fortunately for Fatal, of course, who takes it in fine form.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been the case where it's the best 10 results, I believe, out of the 12, and there is definitely a feeling of satisfaction. Yeah, so yeah, Fatal having done so well across the year. Yeah, it's been a fantastic effort from him going for so long, and yeah, it can be the fact that he had the points advantage sewn up really. So yeah, well done to Fatal, and yeah, just a case where no one else could really match his consistency, and he delivered where it counted.
And that wraps up our season. It's been a great one. Of course, we cannot leave without saying thanks to the huge number of drivers who have competed in this championship throughout the year. We have to, of course, thank the Race Green team and Rony for putting it all together for us. And, of course, World Class Lines for sponsoring the entire series. Both XL and RTFR, a very generous prize fund from them. And, the prize money going to the top 10 in RTFR XL, with Fatal walking away with 70 euros of prize money all to himself. So, Eoin, once again, it's been a pleasure. This is our second full year of RTFR XL, in fact, commentating together. It's a shame we couldn't finish it with Miika. We hope he rests up and is back with us soon in the commentary box. But yes, a very special way to finish this season, Eoin.
Of course, yeah, a fantastic challenge, and the difficulty certainly ramped up with this mod. You saw one mistake could be all that it takes to knock someone out of the race, and the fact that the car was even sliding around in the faster corners, it made it so tricky for everyone. But fair play for them for the attempts and the excitement that they've brought to us this evening.
It's a red and yellow day. Fatal for Fragmasters wins the 2022 season of RTFR XL, and with that we will sign off. We hope to see you at the next broadcast. We have some iRacing action on our channel tomorrow. The final round of the SMRC Winter Cup 2022 kicks off in iRacing at 8 o'clock UTC with Duncan Vincent and Andy Alston commentating that. We cannot wait for that. We do love our iRacing action here as well as our LFS action. If you want to tune in to see some LFS action on our channel, then you don't have to wait long, because in only a couple of days we will be broadcasting the final round of the RTFR Championship, the 10th round of the second season of RTFR for 2022. Aston National with the Lilia X GTR, Owen. Another mod for us to enjoy next Tuesday evening.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And I hope our viewers will be ready and willing to see what happens there. And of course, the drivers themselves. Be a great conclusive challenge for them.
Yeah, nice to wrap up both of the seasons 1 week apart. After that, we will be also broadcasting the season finale of Fragmasters GTI Thursday on Thursday the 22nd, so 2 days after the RTFR finale. And then we have the first dates in our 2023 calendar, can you believe, with the final 4 rounds of the MRC Rallycross Championship, the third season of that championship. We broadcasted the first round on Sunday, and the remaining 4 will be in January and February of next year. So that basically is a quick summary of all the stuff on our calendar at the moment. But we do have quite a lot of stuff to announce for 2023, but we'll leave that for now. We'll talk about that in a special episode or a special broadcast, which we always do at the end of the year. Eoin, it's been a pleasure. Chris in the background providing us with all the stats and numbers and the action. We thank him as well. And thanks to all of you for watching. We hope to see you on the next one. This has been RTFR XL for 2022. We hope you enjoyed it, and we hope to see you next time. Good night.
Bye-bye.